How's it going, guys? Welcome to the video. Comment down below if you know what this thing is specifically. Guys, I've got a really exciting video for you today. We are going to be joined by the co-founder of Leaf Shave, Adam. So here is a little bit of what you can expect in this video.
All these cartridges that are like $4 and $5 and $2 from all these other companies, when you take it out and look at what's actually doing the shaving, it's the same thin piece of steel.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if it's the same piece of steel that's doing the shaving, it's just getting repackaged in all these like crazy, wacky ways.
Different lubricating strips.
Exactly.
And
then let's
designs
strip all that nonsense out and just put it into a razor head with like a pivoting head so that you don't have to maintain the blade angle yourself. And we got it. Like that's it.
How does Adam do his head shaves usually?
Not too dissimilar. I don't shave every day on my head. I like to let it go. And frankly, I like to kind of let it get a little bit longer. I really like the feeling of taking it down. And also, there's something kind of fun about, it kind of changes your look, throughout the week. If you start if you want like a really nice smooth head every day, like you can totally do that. But I kind of like, maybe Wednesday or Thursday of that week, I've got a little bit more. Yeah, about every 4 or 5 days for me as well.
So guys, sit back, enjoy this one. Timestamps will be down below if you want to skip to any of the topics. And of course, Leaf Shave are linked. First link in the description box. Enjoy, guys.
My name is Adam Simone. I'm one of the co-founders at Leaf Shave.
Going back, when did you first notice like, hey, there's something going on with the hair here?
Okay, yeah. I never grew up with like that really enviable, like thick mane, but that's okay. Overall I had like a pretty good hairline and it never bothered me so much. There's probably 2 defining moments in the last decade that like defines my understanding and relationship with my hair up there. Probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I was working really hard at this company. And I don't know if it was just like genetics or stress. I was very stressed at the time, or maybe diet. It's probably all like related, but I went from not having any self-conscious feelings about my hair on my head to one day a coworker very bluntly was like, "Hey, you're losing your hair."
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know that.
Right.
That was news to me. I started looking at it a little bit closer and I'm like, oh man, I got a little receding hairline up there. Maybe a month later, I saw a picture where my head was like down a little bit. And I was like, oh man, you can like see all the way through to the scalp. I'm really self-conscious about that. I started like adjusting how I treated my hair in the sense of like cut. So I started cutting it shorter, which I felt like, maybe helped maintain some illusion of that. And then, when you look in the mirror, you look straight on and you're like, oh, kind of like all up there. It's okay. I lived my life and didn't worry too much about it for about another 5 or 6 years, to be frank. And then last year I at another work event, and I guess funny that both of these are like surrounded by feedback from my coworkers. So maybe about a year ago, I was out at dinner at a work event. A friend at work took a picture across the table of me and someone else and showed it to me later and was like, hey, you guys look great. And I looked and my head was kind of down a little bit. And the same deal, we're like, oh man, it's now like, oh, that's all I can see. But what was really notable is he didn't comment on it. And I don't think he saw that. Like I probably was the only person seeing that, frankly, when I looked at that picture. I think they just saw Adam. And the fact that I reacted so strongly to it, like, oh, I don't like how I look in this picture. I feel nervous and I'm almost a little bit like irrationally ashamed about it. But the fact that my friends and colleagues, I don't think I could abstract myself enough to say, I don't think they're thinking that. But the fact that I'm thinking that says like, I've got this like really messed up relationship with like what's going on up there. Yeah. And it's frankly just not worth it. So around that time, about 4 years into owning Leaf Shave as well, the razor company that I started, and I'm like, you know what? It's about time that I just like take it off. And I was watching some of your early films on YouTube, and I think it really spoke to me, more of that kind of like emotional journey and acceptance. And when I understood that I was my worst enemy with it, that I could just take a leap and take the worry, literally the weight off my shoulders and my head, that I thought maybe I would have an easier time with it. And that's just like the last thing I need to worry about. I'm a busy guy. I've got so many other more important things in my life than that. That kind of is that's where we ended up.
The thing you mentioned about the picture is really interesting, you know, how the person taking it, like you said, didn't mention like, oh, Adam, have you seen your hair here? Or, you know, probably it didn't even come into his mind, you know. Can you remember how you found maybe the video or my videos, or can you remember maybe what you were searching for at the time?
This is where my story kind of intertwines with my business. I started Leaf Shave with a buddy of mine, and we make, I think, really amazing razors. And, you know, we set out to make like a better razor, and it turned out like a better razor was also incidentally like better for the world around us, because we could like eliminate plastic and make it easier to shave with safety razors. So all those things. And so that was kind of coalescing around the time when my understanding and like acceptance of my hair situation was coalescing.
Yeah.
And so I actually found you not searching for a solution here, but searching for someone that I thought like could help us reach an audience of people who were shaving up there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so, you know, that's when we touched base back then, you know, I think earlier, you know, pretty early in your YouTube career, right?
Yeah. That was 5-6 months, maybe. You know, I'd been shaving my head for a while, and I started doing a few, you know, looking at different products and things like that. And obviously, you know, we've spoken and I've mentioned in a few videos about how that journey of searching for the best products for specifically head shaving for me has got to this point. And it was very unique. It is very unique. I hadn't seen anything like that before. Do you think, I mean, it just makes sense to ask this question now. Do you think that's why Leaf Shavers or do you think that's a reason for its some of its success is because it is very unique? Like, oh, I never thought of that before. You know, it's like you said, those two worlds where, you know, the cartridge razor is it's just kind of what everyone knows now, right? It's very trendy. Maybe people's in their 60s and 70s will still know about, you know, safety razors and things, or people in that kind of niche shaving enthusiasts, you know, it's big for those guys.
Sure.
But your average Joe who starts shaving and you head into the supermarket, a razor to them is a cartridge razor. You know, that's what they see. And so do you think that kind of unique aspect of, oh, I never thought that this could be a thing is a reason for that? Or
honestly, I do think that's part of our secret sauce, frankly. You know, internally, we think a lot about this, Adam and I, where if we're going to put something out, it better be unique in some way. And certainly like the core technology around the Leaf is particularly unique, not just like the fact that it is a unique pairing of two different things, but even down to our new traditional safety razor, the Twig, it still looks different. And I think like looking different and maybe subverting expectations, whether you're from a traditional shaving crowd or you're from a modern, like, hey, I never ever think about shaving crowd. It just helps you stand out. And that's definitely one of our strategies. I think it's a positive strategy because the more people we get this into the hands of, I think, you know, the better impact we make on the world. But you know, it's there's definitely some psychology at play there.
It is interesting because that's one of the things that I noticed instantly. I just was like, oh, it goes like this and you put the blades in like that. I was thinking like, why isn't this a thing already?
That's exactly what we thought the first time we thought of it.
Yeah, it's great. We'll go back to the embracing the hair loss for you.
So I would love to be the kind of person who has like that fortitude of be like, there was a moment where I'm like, you know, just for me, just to solve this problem, I'm doing it. But, you know, I also come back to the fact that so much of my life is tied up with this business, which is also, you know, small business is also my life. So like it honestly, the aha moment was tied together with Leaf and with my shaving. So one of the things that I've always, as like a business owner, I've always said to myself is I'm never going to ask someone to shave something that I haven't tried with my razor. And so that means I'm holding a beard now. I really like having a beard, but I shave my face. I've shaved my leg. I've shaved my body, but I had never shaved my head. And so I think I kind of talked myself into it using that as like a helpful crutch for myself. I'm like, look, you know, I have no idea how this is going to go, but I need to do it for my business because I need to see what it's like to shave my head. I'm saying it's a great head shaver, but haven't tried it yet. And I've heard from people, but I want to experience it so that I can know how to like make it better and explain it better and work with this group. And that's how I convinced myself. of course, the little like person on my shoulder is like, well, you should do this anyways, Adam. Like, what are you waiting for? It's time. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. Yeah. I guess if I could was thinking to you in that situation, it's like you got all these things going on. You know, like you said, you're super busy with the new business. I guess you could almost call it the perfect excuse or the perfect kind of like
Kinda.
push into it. Yeah. Yeah.
But
No.
I gotta say, I so that night, like, I mean, and I did it alone. I pulled out the buzzers and I like clip it short. And I'm like, okay, this is the shortest my hair has ever been. It doesn't look that bad. I actually think it looks okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like go down to skin. And I loaded up my razor and I'm like, well, gosh, I hope my razor works. And I did it. And afterwards, honestly, like I'm not a selfie guy. Like I don't take a lot of selfies. I don't like take a lot of pictures of myself. But I was like, snap, 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 snap. Oh, this actually looks pretty good. And I like texted it to a couple people, and I'm like, because you're always nervous about how people are going to take it. But I threw it out there, and it was well received. And people have been really supportive, and I love it now. Oh my
Brilliant.
God.
The best thing I say to a lot of guys, when they're revealing that new look, because not only are they kind of, I guess, apprehensive. That's one of the biggest things for a lot of people. I'm not sure if that was necessarily for yourself, but it's that how are people going to react to this,
I mean, it's inevitable.
almost like ripping off the band-aid of the hair like that. Then that next step of just getting it out there and showing other people is you just got to do it. And I think people are often surprised at the sort of great feedback that they get. It's awesome. The moment came, you felt comfortable and like, right, I need to be able to try this razor out right on the head.
Yeah.
And one of the things I mentioned to you when we were speaking before as well is there's a lot of people out there who have made videos, on the leaf razor for head shaving. I think I told you, right? The thing that I like about it is, and this is just kind of going off script here, but the top thing for me is the way you can customize it. There's so many different variations. And you're not tied in just to one. Obviously, you make your own blades, but if you want to try other things, because they can, they can affect it, you have that option. So you don't never feel like, oh, I'm paying this subscription, or I've kind of gotten used to this one now, so now I'm kind of stuck. Because I think another thing as well, this is maybe more head shave specific, because it's like it's a haircut, it's a style, it's a thing. You want to still kind of keep it interesting, and one way you can do that is by trying different products and things like that. And the fact you can kind of change the blades and the variations, so that allows you to get that excitement. Is that what I call it? Kind of. It just keeps it fresh, keeps it interesting. So for me, that was one of the biggest things. And the fact that, yeah, it just shaves incredibly well. Did you design it like that way, with the way the blades are spaced out and things like that?
Yeah, very, very purposeful
Right.
design. Both for the customization of it, which I thought was important, and frankly, also, and this is the hardest part about designing razors, is that because you're bringing a blade to skin, there's a very small like variance of like what's the difference between I'm gonna cut the heck out of myself versus I'm not cutting enough hair. So there's like a really interesting medium spot in there, which
the angle and
frankly,
things, right?
yeah, it's like it's one of the reasons why the customization comes so in handy, because everybody is different. Everyone's experience is you may have more sensitive skin or rougher hair or like more wiry hair, or frankly, you might like press really hard when you shave, or you might have a lighter hand. And so being able to adjust to how people use it is really important for making sure the most people get the best shave they possibly can.
I need to ask you about your own personal kind of routine now, with the leaf. With this thing, like you said, the way you've kind of designed it with the angles and things, you don't have to kind of think about it at all. It just, I don't know if it's the pivot or, it's already at the angle that you need it to be at, right?
Exactly.
Which is obviously a big downside of safety razors, traditional safety razors. And I'm not sure if you saw it, but when I really wanted to love those things. I wanted to so badly, because everyone was saying to me like, no, these cartridge razors are no good. It's all about the safety razor. And that was the biggest thing. I was like, you have to get the angle of it perfectly. And with enough practice, you can get it. With enough practice, you can get it. But you you really have to go through some serious pain, you know, to find that level.
I love safety razors. I think
Yeah.
they're really neat. Like the history, their 120-year history with King Gillette is like fascinating and kind of romantic. And there's a place for them. I mean, I use a safety razor every now and then as well. Most of that use has been supplanted by the twig now for me, but I still use the safety razor in my routine for like lining my beard and on my neck. But just the efficiency of the leaf, it just like it frankly unmatched up there. And honestly, that's one of the things that I think has allowed us to like make some nice friends with the traditional wet shaving community.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
when we first came out, my guess is they all kind of looked at us like, what are you doing? Like, this is like so antithetical to like what we believe in. And I just hope that someday, if we were just like really nice all the time, they'd accept us. And I think having this like inroad with the head shaving community where you can have really diehard safety razor shaving folks on your face, but maybe they just don't like it on their head. And this is a really nice, option. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, definitely. So how about your own kind of head shaving routine?
Right.
I'm just for context, I'm usually 4 or 5 days now. It used to be 2 or 3 with traditional cartridge razors, but with the leaf, I can leave it 4 or 5 days and get the same kind of cut. So that's nice. 4 or 5 days. Sometimes in the shower, sometimes not. I think actually you guys suggest after the shaving, after the shower. I've seen that.
Yeah.
And I just use a shave soap now, like really, really simple, just shave soap, kind of savage. I don't use a brush or anything anymore. I just kind of get it on, really simple. Yeah, no fuss, no fuss. My favorite thing was when I filmed that in the head shave in the Highlands. I'm not sure if you saw that one, right?
But I did. Yeah, so that was wild.
I felt like I was on some sort of wildlife excursion with my shaving kit just wrapped up there nicely. And when you've got the shave soap and everything, you can do that. But if you have like cans or the tub and the brush, and you just can't do it. So how about yourself? How does Adam do his head shaves usually?
Not too dissimilar. I don't shave every day on my head. I like to let it go. And frankly, I like to kind of let it get a little bit longer. I really like the feeling of taking it down. And also there's something kind of fun about, it kind of changes your look, throughout the week. If you start like, I mean, yeah, if you want like a really nice smooth head every day, like you can totally do that. But I kind of like, maybe Wednesday or Thursday of that week, I've got a little bit more. So about every 4 or 5 days for me as well on the shave. And then I do it after the shower most of the time. And I actually use my twig razor to get around my ears and to line my beard. And then I pull my leaf out and I do the rest of it like that. So I use both in tandem. On the soap side, I actually use either Cremo or our shave soap bar typically.
Do you find that shaving, because I've never really tried it like that, but shaving your head after the shower, you just find it easier to or more comfortable, or have you noticed a difference?
More comfortable, frankly. My hair is pretty wiry in general, so it helps soften it. And generally, like before a shave, you kind of want to like exfoliate and warming up your skin opens the pores a little bit, so things aren't so constricted. And I think it just makes shaving a little bit more pleasant. I hated shaving my face, and that's why I have a beard. It's just like such a chore. I hate shaving my face, but I love shaving my head. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, you mentioned that, if you leave it for like 3-4 days, 5 days like I do, you get that, because everyone remembers those times when we were heading to the barbers. You walk out and you feel good, you feel fresh, right? With your new cut. Yeah, you get that every time after you kind of shave your head and you clean things up. So it's a moment to kind of enjoy. That's something to enjoy. Definitely, it's like a small little win, midweek
especially
win.
now. Like this world is so crazy. Like one of the nice things is the your home shaving routine can kind of feel like a little self-care.
No, definitely. And you're not reliant on things like this, when the world kind of grinds down in certain places. I mean, it is here, you've still got all the tools you need to stay fresh, look fresh. Definite bonus. I want to touch a little bit more on leaf then, if we can. So I mean, we kind of describe it here as writing it down on a beer mat, when guys talking in the pub, like, oh, that's a good idea. When did that moment come to you? When did the idea first come for Leaf Shave?
So it's interesting. My co-founder Adam, We were working together at this company, and there was one night, it was probably a Wednesday, and we were both staying late at work, maybe 2013 or so. And he came down and stopped by my office and said he had an idea for a razor, and he wanted to make a company, and he wanted to know if I wanted to join him. And I immediately was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm game for anything. Let's try. The first thing that we actually developed at Leaf isn't the Leaf that you know today. So the concept was a straight blade pivoting head razor. So truly the last razor you would ever need to buy, where it had a single blade, straight blade in a pivoting head, and it came with a little sharpening box. So you put the head in the box and you cranked it and it spun the blade out. Really kind of a cool device.
Yeah.
And so there was certainly a point where we're like, this is clearly just not going to work. If we're running up against the problem of like price. So what's another way to solve this problem and make a better razor that doesn't make $1,000 razor? And that's when we started really looking closely at double-edged blades, at traditional safety razor blades, and like, okay, can we use these somehow in a package and repackage them in a way they've never been before? And that's where the multi-blade pivoting head razor came about. It wasn't like a single spark or a single like napkin jotted on paper. It was just the accumulation of, frankly, years of work together on looking at the problem of shaving from every angle we could think of, until something novel popped out.
And just really trying to, I guess, improve the kind of experience. And you said that the thing of reducing plastic and things like that was kind of like an added bonus, right?
Yeah, it frankly was, and it was obviously in our mind because we named the company Leaf, and so we thought that could be like a really important benefit of it. But frankly, we just wanted to make a better razor, one that was cheaper than these cartridges. I mean, because I do this whenever a new cartridge comes out, we buy one in house at Leaf, and I'll take it apart and look at the components of it, and they're all the same. Like all these cartridges that are like $4 and $5 and $2 from all these other companies, when you take it out and look at what's actually doing the shaving, it's the same thin piece of steel.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if it's the same piece of steel that's doing the shaving, it's just getting repackaged in all these like crazy, wacky ways.
Different lubricating strips.
Exactly.
And head
then let's
designs
strip all that nonsense out and just put it into a razor head with like a pivoting head, so that you don't have to maintain the blade angle yourself. And we got it. Like that's it.
And that's how it was born. No, that is interesting.
When I named it Leaf, I had two things in mind. One is I always felt like it was really organic, how it like opened up and it leafed open and you had these different leaves. The fact that it did give a nod towards like the eco aspect of it. And then number three is it's not a very like masculine or feminine name. And we felt it was really important from the beginning not to be a male or female razor company. We just wanted to be a people razor company, because everyone's hair is just hair.
And of course the whole idea of you can literally use it to shave wherever you want, right?
Head to toe. Once I started shaving with my head, I'm like, okay, I like fundamentally have a different understanding of how our next handle should be shaped based on how I'm holding this, which is a lot different than if you're shaving your face or shaving your leg, So that's going to inform a lot of like where we go as a company.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me on quite nicely to my next question. And I was going to ask this, where do you guys see this going? You've just brought out the twig. You said that the shaving soap's out as well. So it's gone further, than just one razor. So can we expect more products from Leaf?
Oh, yes, you can. We're just getting started. So honestly, Adam and I have a dream lineup in our mind, and we know exactly where we want to end up. And frankly, it's just about kind of executing to get there. The original Leaf is 4 years old now. So she's going to get an update to a generation 2 at some point in the next, hopefully the next 12 months. And
that's exciting.
We have another razor joining the lineup that fits really nicely between the Leaf and the twig. So I expect pretty soon we'll have 3 razors. The idea is to have the right tool for the right job, and really, frankly, a razor for anybody that needs it. The twig might not be your jam, the leaf might not be your jam, but we certainly will hope that we'll have some sort of shaving tool that meets your need. We're really excited.
Adam, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed that one. And it was great to have the opportunity to share a little bit more insight into the company that is sponsoring Baldcafe and that I love so much. Another thing I mentioned at the start, we've got, this of course is the Super 8 camera. This is the Canon Zoom 518. Just a little bit of behind the scenes into things that I'm kind of playing with and have recently got involved with. Check this thing out as well, guys. Look at that. Sony Handycam. It takes the old tapes. Unfortunately, this one was from eBay. Batteries are shot, so I've got to figure that out. But a cool little thing nonetheless. And yeah, we're going to be doing some creative projects. Leaf are going to be involved with that. Or if you remember that Highland head shave, it featured in this video you've just watched. We're going to be playing around with it and doing a few more things like that. Don't forget this month, a lot of interesting things going on at Leaf Shave. The link down below, of course. And guys, thank you for watching. Really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again very soon for more here at Baldcafe. See you guys.